Letuna chuan interview part 2 kan zirang part 1 han interview chu enge ni enge a thatna te thatlo ni te chi hrang hrang a meaning omzia kan zira part 2 a hi chuan interview an in biak na tak kha kan envel don tina ni chuan. I am a professor who writes novels on Sundays, Umberto Eco. He kan an interview don ni chu. The following is an extract from an interview of Umberto Eco. Hemi noya kan share tur hi extract lak chuani from an interview of Umberto Eco, Italian ania. Umberto Eco interview chang lak chuani. The interview is Mukund Padmanabhan from the Hindu atang Mukund Padmanabhan kha interview tu ania. Tunge Umberto Eco, so professor at the University of Bologna in Italy. Italia chuan Bologna tin an pronounce mai thina. University of Bologna a professor pakhat ania had already acquired is nei to mo dong to a formidable reputation as a scholar lekhathiam mo mi zir mi lekhathiam formidable condition ro pui tak enormous great reputation ming than na mo ming moina for his ideas on semiotics eng thila nge kan ti chuan semiotics nge kan ti chuan the study of signs le symbols the mo symbol te sign te khatyang zirna lamani ta ni khatyanga khan reputation ro pui tak ming than na lo la to ani a literary interpretation chung chau chu ni lowa literary interpretation mo literature thu le hlalama thil an vazir chian na ate medieval hunlaya aesthetics kan ti chuan hei art le beauty thil moina te mon art te khatyang lampang te before he turned to writing fiction mo fiction a zia chan ma fiction chu nge kan ti chuan thil thleng mi alo te I enge hei thon thu phot chopang chi te pawh ni thiang chu khatyang novel te pawh ni thia khatyang lampang azia ma khan hi tiang thilai hian enge nang hnu hma ro pui tak kha lo nei to ani literary fiction kan ti chuan hei literature lampang fiction khamo academic texts te essays academic text kan ti chuan hei zirna huang lampang a text mo zirna bu te essays te children's books naupang lekha bu te newspaper article mo thu zia kan chhuat thin te his written output is staggeringly kan ti chuan hei shocking mo mak tak main hei na men lowa ro pui ani khatiang written output kan ti chuan da chhuat chhop chhuah kha thil zia a chhop chhuat te kha staggeringly large and weight ranging kan ti chuan hei thil chi hrang enge ning hei tuna kan chhiar tawng khan chi hrang pui tak kha chhop chhuak to ani in 1980 a khan he acquired the equivalent of intellectual superstardom with the publication of The Name of the Rose. Le 1980 na han The Name of the Rose ti kha chhuah ani. Hemi awang hian the equivalent ti chu thlukpui ani chu intellectual stardom kan ti chuan lar na hming than ani superstardom ani chuan lar top khawk mo intellectual thiam le fin na lama superstardom kha The Name of the Rose chhuah rual khan ani which sold more than 10 million copies million som chuang kha a sold ni ti chuan an interview kan en thlanga mukun chuan the English novelist and academic David Lodge once remarked English novelist le academic mo David Lodge novelist kan ti chuan novel ziak tu ni mai academic kan ti chuan I the zirna thiam na lampang mi mo khatyang kha David Lodge once remark kan ti chuan comment mo thu soi ani chu I can't understand how one man can do all these things he does. Echo soinani. I can't understand ka shit thiamlo chu how one man can do all these things. Mi pakhatin heng zong ati thei makkati ni ka shit thiamlo ti heng zong ati chu literary interpretations te fiction zia te children's books te medieval aesthetics te semiotics te khatyang lampang kha thiam deu vek ani khatyang kha tinani chu Umberto Eco chuan maybe I give the impression of doing many things. Thil tam tak tiangin kalang ani ang chu mo impression kan ti chu hmu dan. Mina min hmu ang khan ko mani ang chu. But in the end ma sian in taka chuan I am convinced I am always doing the same thing. Ka chian em chu thil ngai bokhi ka ti ni ke chu thil ngai le ngai bokhi ka ti ni thil tam tak tiangin lang mai la ti ta mo kun chuan which is chu chuenge le Umberto Eco chuan now that is more difficult to explain. So if you have a hurry, I have some philosophical interests and I pursue them through my academic work and my novels. ke hi philosophical interest mo philosophy kan ti chuan mihring dam chan nun chan te khatiang lampang tuina reuh mai hi kan nei a chu I pursue ka bo zui ani them through my academic work and my novels chu ka novels te le he ke academic work mo hemi zirna huang chunga ka hna te hian chung chu ka bo zui thina even my books for children are about non-violence and peace chu wang chuan children naupang te tana lehkhabu ka chhuah a te pawh hian are about non-violence mo hei tharum thawh lo na khatiang te peace mo in rem na te and peace you see the same bunch of ethical philosophical interests chu wang chuan same bunch zon ngai le ngai mo of ethical mo thil dik le dik lo te dam chan mo mihring nunom zia te khatiang lampang deuh vek hi ni ani na taka chuan a ti ni and then I have a secret ti chuan thuruk pakhat ka nei a did you know that what will happen if you eliminate the empty spaces from the universe hemi universe chang hian hmun ruak mo hemi hmun ruak zong zong hi eliminate excuse me ti bo vek ta leng thil nge thleng ai hriam eliminate the empty spaces in all the atoms in universe chung the atom zong zong a space hmun ruak zong zong te hi ti bo vek ila nge thleng ang the universe will become as big as my fist ka kutum leka lian hi lo ni to ang hemi universe lian tak mai hi similarly to tiang tho chuan we have a lot of empty spaces in our lives kan nu na hian hmun ruak mo hun ruak kha kan nga em ta ni I call them interstices chu interstices ka ti ni chumi a in kar hmun kamo say entirnan say anti to chuan hey let's say antiang deuh hian entirnan ti hian ti ta ilan ti na ni chu you are coming over to my place kom na hmuna ka inai local don ta you are in an elevator ayoma and while you're coming up ilo chho chung khan I'm waiting for you ka lo ngak che ni kami nga lai this is an interstice an empty space kami ilo thlen ma ilo kal lai le ka lo nga lai che in kar kami ka hmun ruak ani ka hmun ruak ani I work in empty spaces chu wang chuan khatiang hmun ruak a khan ka thok thin while waiting for your elevator to come up from the first to the third floor have already written an article first ranga third floor ilo thlen ma khan article pakhat chu ka lo zo man der ani hmun ruak kan tiang chi khoral lo a man tangkai kha kha ati thiama khatiang kha a mang tangkai thiama chuwang chuan hun khatheng zong zong ti nan hian hun kha a nei ani kha a secret ani poimo khop mai kan tan pon ti ru hei chu I hun hmun ruak kan ti phone khoi mai me kan man lai te kan khoral mai me ang chi te pawh thil engemaw tak ti nan khan kan lo zep zel the a thil tangkai kha kan lo ti hman zel thei ti na ni chu mukun chuan not everyone can do that, of course. Mizo zo in chung chun di theilenim. Your non-fictional writing, your scholarly work has a certain playful and personal quality about it. And your non-fictional writing kan ti chuan mo fiction chu siam chop pho chopang chi and non-fiction ni chuan pho chop te siam chop te ni talo atak a thleng mo vazir chian ngai te khatiang chi te non-fictional writing te I scholarly work mo scholar hei zirna I zirna lama I hna te kha certain playful and personal quality about it khang te kha engtin amni tak ka ngai nom reuh le personal quality about it mo hey nangma quality personal nangma mi mal nun nene inzom na nei thlet ang chi te na lang a it is a marked departure kan ti chuan kalsan mo from a regular academic style academic hei zir na huanga anti thin style tlang pui khatiang regular changkan a om hrang hlak ta om hrang thlet ta ni which is invariably depersonalized and often dry and boring academic style writing a chuan a depersonalized kan ti chuan he thil kha avazir ngor to keimani aziak tu ngai dan te emo kan feel dan te emo kan thil ton te mo khatiang lampang ka om to lowa chuwang chuan a boring thin ani nom ve deuh thin a ngai nom lo pha thin ati have you consciously adopt an informal approach chuwang chuan shiran hian adopt ti chuan la pom mo informal approach khatiang thil tia khan ti dan big informal deuh hey academic style formal dewa an zom tur ni lo engemaw ti inei nge or is it something that just come naturally to ni lo pan nangma hey natural mo pian pui shim lo om ve top nge ni ti khana zot le a umberto eco chen when I present my first doctoral dissertation in Italy dissertation kan ti chuan he research paper ni mai doctorate degree ten nei dawna an zir chian na chip chiar tak khami an thil enge niang zir chian mo khatiang research paper kha an work kha ni ta ni khami ka present ma sak per khan. One of the professors said, Professor Pakhat chuan scholars learn a lot of certain subject. Scholars ho chuan subject enge mo big a hian na sat again an zira, then they make a lot of false hypothesis ti chuan hypothesis kan ti chuan he I guess an ti mo rin thil enge mo va enge niang va predict log te mo varin chin thil tiang lo thleng ta se tia an lo duan lo kang chi te khat tiang kha false hypothesis na sa takin an siam thin, then they correct them and at the end chuna topa khan an correct le thina conclusion khan siam thin ni top na kha you on the contrary ma se nang chu mak tak mai in told the story of your research. Your research hi thon thuang deuh hlek asoi ni soi ta ni thon thuang deuh hlek hian iziak thlata ani even including your trials and errors I thil ti dan te har san nei to zong zong te le I thil ti sual zong zong po I tel vek mai at the same time ma se chutia asoi lai mek po chuan he recognized I was right kan ni ti kha share and went on to publish my dissertation as a book ti chuan dissertation kha a bu angen chwa sakta which man he appreciated ti chu angai hlu ani ti kha ka hre thei mai a ti ni. At that point, at the age of 22, kani laikhan, 22 age kani laikhan, I understood scholarly books should be written the way I had done. Heng scholarship books zong zong hi katiang hen lo ti thin tu ni ti hi kashat hiama by telling the story of the research. Kan research til kan zir chian te khang zong zong ka a story a thon thuang deuh leka vashila vazia hi a thazok ni ti kha kashat chwa ka te. Omze chu science kan zir te po he thil ni na ang yel ngal zir chuan a boring chang lo om thei ni thon thuang deuh hleka ngai nom deuh ava zia emaw va chhiar chuan he ama khan ngai nom na riau khawm thin ni. This is why my essays always have a narrative aspect. Chuwang chuan ka essay zia reng reng ti hi narrative aspect kan ti chuan thon thuang deuh hleka omze nei deuh hleka zia hi ni zela and this is why probably I start writing narratives novels so late. Heng wang hian niang narrative mo novel tiang ti te po ka zia tlai at the age of 50 more or less kum som nga ka ni don ang han ka ti tran ve chawani ti an. I remember that my dear friend Roland Birds was always frustrated that he was an essayist and not a novelist ka chen pa hi essayist yak tu ne novelist in lo hi a frustrate a he a ha china a thina rim pui china he novelist ni kha a chak china ne. He wanted to do creative writing, more creative writing apo creative kan ti chan he ngai no mo moi te I khateng chi kha thon thulam pangte creative writing hi ti a chak china but he died before he could do so at the chan mai na thi te hlo about lat mai I never felt this kind of frustration ma se khatiang kha ke chuan kan nei ngai lo khatiang nge niang ti chak na thil enge mo kan ti cha kan ti thelo kan frustrate kan thinrim kan hang chi te khatiang kha kan nei ngai lo. I started writing novels by accident. I had nothing to do one day. Novel hi tum lo deuh in he ka ziak thuta tum kha chu engma ti tur kan nei lo hi so I started novels probably satisfied my taste for narration ka ziak ta ringota novel so hian hi mi narration thon thuanga thil vat englo du va zia du te va shil du te khatiang ka chak na kha a satisfied mo khatiang kha enge ne min phuruk berin ka shia novel ka tlangen ka ti thei berin ka shia ati ta ni ti chuan mukun chuan talking about novels from being a famous academic he went on to become spectacularly famous after the publication of The Name of the Rose. Novelist soita ka chuan academic mo zirnu wang a milar takni trin kha Name of the Rose I publish nu ka chuan ilar ta spectacularly moro pui tak main I hing kha in for Lara. You've written 5 novels against many more scholarly works of non-fiction at least Morton. This one, 5 novels, novel panga lai iziak to a non-fiction tele adang zong zong pialama khan 20 of them Umberto Eco. Oh, 20 chuang iziak to ziang han 5 novels to chuan Umberto Eco chuan over 40 chuang zokalomaloti ni mukin so over 40. Among them a seminal piece of work on semiotics. But as most people about Umberto Eco and they will say, oh, he's the novelist, does that bother you? Le, 40 chuang zok mo semiotics chung chang a seminal piece of work kan ti chuan hei chin chhia tlak ro puila tuk mai work semiotics a chu tiang za di lo nei to ama se ask most people about Umberto Eco mi tam zok Umberto Eco hi tu nge ni ti kan zo chuan they will say he's the novelist come on ti thinani does it bother you mo chu poi etiam an hriat dan chu a chan chu semiotics mo zirna hwa peng ro pui la tuka seminal piece mo thil thok he work ro pui la tuk mai nei ni la ya novelist ti ang mai an lo hriat che kha does it bother you poi etiam mo Umberto Eco chen yes because I consider myself a university professor who writes novels on Sundays poi kati azia lo kati hetia min shia di chu achan chu I consider myself ke ma in hmu da in shia da chuan university professor kani a novel hu chu Sunday azia ve mai thin novelist ya min shiat lar ai ma pon university ya professor pakhat ngat ani ti khan ke ma le ke ma ke hmu dan ni thina is not a joke mo ka wang mi aloni I participate in academic conference lampang mo zirna lampang conference hrang hrang ate ka participate ka tel thrina and not meetings of pen clubs and writers te pen clubs te khatianga chung ka tel ngai hlenem I identify myself with the academic community chuwang chuan academic community mo omzia chu writers te ziang mi te I zing ziang mi te community host ai ma pon academic mi inzir sang mi le khathiam te zinga khan himi community a hian keima hi enge niang ka in ka tel na sa zoka himi family ang hian ke ngai thina ni ati ni but okay ma se poi chuang if they have read only the novels so unfair ni chuna poi chuang lo ve I know that by writing novels I reach a larger audience achan chu novel zia hian larger audience bo mi pui tam zoka ka thleng hnem zok ti ka hriam ze chu mi tam tak khan novel awang hian min lo hriat pha ti chuan ka work te khan share phani ti ka hria I cannot expect to have 1 million readers with stuff on semiotics chung chang hemi science symbol ti ringot atang chuan million readers nei the hi chu ke ring faklo shim ati ne mukun chuan which brings me to my next question chung chuan ka question pakhat zo ka min shwaya the name of the rose is a very serious novel serious tak mai ani it's a detective yearn at one level but it also delves into metaphysics pakhata chuan detective yearn mo he thil hi mo nu chhuine te khatiang lampang ani a ma se chumi pial ma chuan metaphysics lampang mo atel bawk ani theology te medieval history te ni bawk a it enjoyed a huge mass audience khatiang theology te medieval history lampang te metaphysics te omsi kha huge mass audience mipui tam tak kha a hip tho si ta ni were you puzzled at all by this chu makiti lom ni makiti amati ni Umberto Eco chuan no makatilo journalists are puzzled journalists how he makantini and sometimes publishers hope makantitrin and this is because journalists and publishers believe that people like trust and don't like difficult reading experiences achanzu journalists and publishers hoina makanti chanchu people like trust mi pui hian trust mothil ho me hi an ngai na ni hian an shia don't like difficult reading experiences thil chiar har sa takte khir takte khatyang ka an ngai na lo ni hian an shia ta wangin hetiang andu tam takin andu hi makanti zogni consider there are 6 billion people on this planet 6 billion chuang mihring om taila the name of the rose sold between 10 and 15 million copies 6 billion zinga chuan 10 to 15 million copies ka name of the rose ka shall ania so in a way I reach only a small percentage of readers chu wang chuan chu tiang zonga chu chuan readers percentage tlem te cholom ka thlen phak but it is exactly these kinds of readers who don't want easy experiences ma se he tiang mihring bok ni easy experience kan ti chuan thil all samte a lem duak theimo inge niang ngai tuana wa man chik po ngai lem lo khat tiang du lo ho khan ni thin he tiang readers te hi or at least don't always want this I myself at 9 p.m. after dinner came up 9 p.m. dinner nuwa chuan watch television and want to see either Miami Vice or emergency room I really needed but not all day ke po dinner zo chuan khatiang hei tiang shows te ka entry na e nuam katia kama mo bok ani ma se ni leng chuan kati chuang lo te khatina bela muku chuan khut the huge success of the novel have anything to do with the fact that it dealt with a period of medieval history that ani chuan hemi huge success more hlotlin na satak of the novel hlotlin na satak hi have anything to do with the fact that it dealt with a period of medieval history period lai thil in kai hnoi a awanga hlotling ani in ring Ishiamati a Umberto Eco chuan that's possible thil thei tho ani. But let me tell you another story thil dang kan shil de yang che because I often tell stories like a Chinese wise man. Atsan to Chinese mi fingang yan thon thu hi ka shil china ka soi china. My American publisher said while she loved my book American publisher min publish saktu chuan ka lekhabu adu rol hin she didn't expect to sell more than 3,000 copies in a country where nobody has seen a cathedral or studies Latin mo i country mo ram pakhat where nobody has seen a cathedral emo Latin pola zir ngai lo khatiang la mu ngai lo shim chuan khatiang rama kha chuan ka publisher chuan hetiang hi copy sang thum aya tam ka chu kan zor the kha a ring lo ani ti ta ni ti chuan cathedral kan ti chuan hei lo en thola hei Christian church poimo lu tok mai mo khatiang medieval hun lai chi te ceiling chi lian tak sang tak mo architecture ro pui tak te hei glass mo kha color nei fe kang chi te khatiang chi kha ni mai athalak te po kha he i lo Google ve ula in thil hriat thiam lo word in hriat thiam lo kha Google a hei cathedral ti kha ve enula image a han lula in hriat thiam mai ang so I was given an advance for 3,000 copies chu wang chuan copy sang thum tan chau kha advance bin pe ni poisa kha but then it sold 2 to 3 millions in the US ma se and no achwani US at 2 to 3 millions ka kan shal the date maya a lot of books have been written about the medieval past far before mine keima ka zia ma point medieval past mo hetiang hun lai vel chanchini lekhabu tam takan lo ziak to a I think the success of the book is a mystery chu wang chuan hemi lekhabu a hlotlin tak viau na chante mina an lei viau na chan po hi a mystery mo thil explain thelo thil makani in gashia nobody can predict it so lok thelo mo shil lok thelo ani I think if I had written the name of the rose 10 years earlier or 10 years later hemi novel hi kumsom Maine mo kumsom nuwa ziak tai that it would have been the same. It would not have been the same. Ay nang tok her lo may tay. Way it worked at that time is a mystery. So wang chuan kazia hun laya nasataka a lot linsan ka. Til shil fia tay lo maktak ani atitani. Kaka interview part 2 ni a. Part 2 a chuan interview an zo na ten chan dan te khang ka. An lo tilang ani interview tak tak ka. Kaka interview chung chang ani thil zir chian du emaw thil dang request tu te nei chuan comment section a lo da ula i ti thei huna te ti dang kan ngai tu le don nia